Wherever you are right now, I hope you're comfortable, safe, and ready to gently drift into a world that most of us never truly see, even though it quietly holds our planet together. So take a slow breath, let the mind soften, and allow the night, or whatever moment surrounds you, to settle in like a blanket around your thoughts. Tonight, we will wander into the ancient and delicate realm of fungi, those quiet architects of forests, those whispering chemists hidden beneath our feet, weaving and unweaving the fabric of life. This is the wisdom hidden in fungi, networks of life, a story older than trees themselves, a story that has been unfolding in the dark soils of the earth for over 1 billion years. If you could shrink yourself down to the size of a grain of sand, and gently press through the soil, you would find threads, impossibly thin, translucent, branching in every direction. These threads are called hyphae, and together they form the sprawling networks we call mycelium. Some scientists describe them as biological fiber optics because information in the form of chemical signals flows with purpose and precision. But mycelium isn't just a structure. It's a conversation, a living murmuration, a quiet intelligence diffused across millions of tiny filaments. Forests depend on these networks. Trees, separated by meters of soil, connect to one another through the mycelium that winds between their roots. It is in this vast underworld that nutrients are traded, warnings are sent, alliances are made, and sometimes subtle wars are fought. In the stillness of the forest, beneath the crunching leaves and mossy roots, fungi are orchestrating what some researchers now call the wood wide web, an underground economy of life and survival. As you imagine this hidden realm, think of mycelium like neural tissue. It spreads, it senses, it adapts. It remembers where food once was. It redirects itself after obstacles. It behaves, in many ways, like the architecture of a mind, the one with no center, no ego, no boundary. A mind made of soil, time, and patience. This is where our journey begins, in the dim corridors beneath the forest floor, where fungal networks stretch like galaxies of pale starlight, weaving the destinies of plants, insects, and entire ecosystems. And slowly we will drift deeper. Let your thoughts settle. Let them follow softly the branching paths of those hyphae as they stretch through roots, stones, and the silent spaces between. Part 2 invites us deeper into this living web, the place where life negotiates with itself in chemical whispers. Mycelium does not simply grow, it explores. Each filament extends forward like a question, sensing moisture, nutrients, temperature, testing its environment with every microscopic step. You could think of it as a scout, mapping the unseen world, encoding information into its own structure. When a hyphae finds something valuable, a decaying leaf, a fallen pine needle, or the remnants of a creature long returned to the soil, it signals back and the network mobilizes. In this way, fungi are the quiet recyclers of the world. They undo what time has locked away. They decompose cellulose, lignin, and the dense material that even bacteria struggle to break apart. Without fungi, forests would drown in their own fallen debris, unable to regenerate. But fungi do more than clean, they transform. They take what is old and render it new again, returning nutrients to the cycles of life. Some species even glow faintly in the darkness, foxfire fungi emitting soft blue-green light, illuminating the forest floor like ancient runes. Others release spores in delicate bursts, sending billions of microscopic seeds into the air, drifting on breezes and currents, searching for new worlds to colonize. But perhaps the most extraordinary aspect of fungal life is the partnership they form with plants. Mycorrhizal fungi wrap around or even enter root cells, creating intimate exchanges where sugars flow one way, minerals the other. Phosphorus, nitrogen, water, all ferried by fungal highways. And in return, plants share the carbohydrates they manufacture from sunlight. It is, in essence, an ancient contract, one dating back to some of the earliest plants to set foot on land. Fossil records suggest that fungi may have guided the first plants onto dry earth, feeding them minerals from barren volcanic rock in exchange for food. Imagine that. The green world we know, towering forests, grassy plains, delicate flowers, may have been ushered into existence by fungal hands.
Tonight, as we walk through these ideas, let the thought linger. Life does not rise alone. It networks, it collaborates, it learns quietly through connection. If you gently follow the mycelial threads further, you begin to observe something both subtle and astonishing. The network behaves as if it remembers, not through neurons or synapses, but through patterns of growth. In recent studies, slime molds and fungal networks demonstrated something scientists call externalized memory. Instead of storing memory inside cells, like animals do, they store it in the landscape of their own structure. When a fungus encounters an obstacle, like a stone buried in the soil, it redirects its growth. Even after the stone is removed, the network often continues avoiding that space. The absence becomes a memory, a trace of the past embedded in its architecture. It teaches itself where to grow and where not to. Slime molds have even been shown to solve mazes, recreating efficient transport networks that resemble human-designed rail systems. And fungi share many of these adaptive traits. They calculate, but without thought. They solve, but without intention. They remember, but without a self. It is a kind of wisdom that emerges naturally from being deeply connected to one's environment, not separate from it, but entangled with every grain of soil, every root, every droplet of moisture. Fungi sense the world through immersion, not observation. This idea that intelligence might not require a brain gently challenges our assumptions about what it means to know something. For fungi, knowledge is growth, understanding is geometry, decision-making is distributed across millions of branching tips. As the night deepens in our contemplative journey, let the thought rest softly. Perhaps the earth itself holds intelligences we rarely recognize, not because they are hidden, but because they are quiet. Some ecologists describe the mycelial network as a kind of forest nervous system. Though it doesn't conduct electricity like neurons, it transmits chemical messages, warnings about insect attacks, drought stress, and nutrient shortages. In experiments, when one tree is attacked by pests, neighboring trees, connected through fungal networks, prepared defensive chemicals even before the insects arrive. It's not anthropomorphic to say that trees are communicating. They are literally sending signals through fungal intermediaries.
Mother trees, older, larger trees with deep and expansive root systems, can send nutrients to younger saplings shaded beneath them, helping them survive until they reach the light. The fungi act as mediators, balancing flows, directing resources where they are needed most. Yet these networks are not purely benevolent. They can redirect nutrients away from unhealthy trees, accelerating natural selection. They can privilege certain species over others. Life is complex, and even in cooperation, there is competition. Still, the forest thrives because of fungi, because of the steady, silent negotiations taking place beneath the leaf litter. When you walk through a forest, the ground feels soft because it is alive, layered with mycelial webs centuries old. Pause a moment. Imagine all this happening under your very footsteps. A living network, older than human civilization, humming with exchanges in the dark. As we drift into the final part of our journey, let the pace soften further, like settling dust in a quiet room. Fungi remind us of something profound, that the world is woven from relationships. No organism is truly alone. Even the soil beneath us is not inert. It is alive, collaborative, communicative. Some philosophers have suggested that fungal networks embody a worldview modern humans often forget, that intelligence might be diffuse rather than centered, that systems can thrive through interdependence rather than dominance, that wisdom can arise from patience, slow growth, and deep listening to the environment. Fungi listen in ways we cannot. They sense gradients of nutrients, pressure, humidity, chemical traces of other organisms. They respond not with noise, but with shape, by becoming something new. They embody a language older than sound, older than roots, older than the forest itself. And maybe that is why people across cultures have long associated fungi with mystery, spirituality, and the boundary between life and decay. They live in the threshold zones, the twilight spaces where what once lived is transformed into the soil that will nourish what is yet to come. Tonight, as our exploration draws to a gentle close, you might hold on to one thought. Wisdom does not always speak loudly. Sometimes it grows quietly beneath our feet, connecting everything, asking nothing, giving everything, reminding us that life is, above all, a network.